Hello, fellow gunners. Tim here at the reloading bench. Today we're going to be loading some 9mm. Got about a little over 300 casings here. Normally I start out my videos, I've already sized and expanded the mouth. In this video, this is for the half of the 15 subscribers that I've got that doesn't reload, to understand what's going on. A lot of these guys I know, and they talk to me without commenting. A lot of them don't have a YouTube channel, so they comment outside the realm. And they want to know, hey, well, how did you get to that point, or what did you do? And so I'm going to start showing that. Okay, to get started, most pistol cartridges start out reloading die sets or 3 dies. You've got your sizer decapper, you've got your expander, you got your seating seating die, and cramper. It cramps all in one. You also have a shell holder. Now this is an RCBS number 16 for the 9mm. In a Lee, it's a number 19. You'll notice in different companies they have different numbers for their shell holders. You just got to make sure that your cartridge, like I have a multi-pack here, there's a chart on the back that tells you what each shell holder goes for each cartridge. And it also will show on your die set. See right here, it says shell holder number 16 is what's required. Now if you buy Lee die sets, they normally come with a shell holder. Your RCBS, your Lyman, and all your other ones normally don't come with a shell holder. You have to buy them separate. All right, we're going to start sizing these. Now I've got a card here in front of the depriming tray. This tray here catches the dead primers when they're pushed out. And the reason why I've got a card here is because a lot of times they hit that tray and they bounce out, and I don't feel like chasing them or vacuuming them up. So I'm going to put my die set back up here until I get all these sized, and then I'll get the expanding die out. Now, these casings are range pickup, so there's some 380s in here too. So I'll be checking them now from here on out to see if they have the right head stamp. 9mm. You just see, you can't see that. No, you can't see it anyway. Let's get a different angle on this so you can see what I'm doing. There we go. Now, take my casing. I set it in the shell holder. Now run it up. I push it into the sizing die. Now this is a carbide sizing die. It does not require lubrication. Now if it was a steel, and they do sell, or they used to, it's rarer now than what it used to be. Steel dies to size, and you've actually got to lubricate your casings. Like I said, I'm going to be checking these to make sure, and I'm going to separate my my companies, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to load these for accuracy testing. So I want to make sure and separate them. You don't have to if you're not too worried about pinpoint accuracy. I chuckle because, the gun's only as capable as you are. And I'm not saying anything about your shooting, guys. I'm just saying. All right, well, that's the first step in sizing. I'm going to go ahead and size these, and then we'll go from there. I want to add to that, guys, that a lot of pistol and rifle come with an extra die called the factory cramping die. That'll be more common in your Lees, but it's a step after seating your die. We'll get into that when I get into seating the bullets. But we'll get into it later. I also want to add, guys, that in this process of sizing is the perfect time to look for damaged casings. Like if they're split, ruptured, if the head is not right, you need to look for that. Now, also the next step into the expanding of the mouth is another good time, because when you expand it, it'll show cracks too. Here's another thing, guys. You'll get into a military stamped 9mm. Most time military has got a crimp on the primers. So when you push them out, they could be hard to push out. And then you've got to remove that crimp before you put another primer in, or it just simply is hard to get in. A lot of times won't go in. And then you've got danger of setting the primer off. So you got to watch for that too. I bet a lot of you are going, how can you identify that as a military? Okay, most time it'll say WCC, and then it'll give the date. It'll have a 12 on there. That's 2012. And you'll see little crosshairs up there. Some of them will say LC on it. But most of them will have the date. It won't have a commercial head stamp. It'll have the date and then where it was made. I forgot a very important step, guys. When you adjust your seating die or your sizing die, you want to make sure that your shell holder in your ram touches the bottom of your full length sizing die. If you don't, it's not going to size it all the way down, and you could have trouble getting it in the chamber. So make sure that your shell holder touches the bottom of your sizing die. All right, guys. I've done quite a few. It's going to take quite a while to size all those. So I'm going to get into the next step, and that's expanding the mouth. I'm going to take out the seating die, or the sizing die. Of course, I've already got these all preset, but to set your expanding die, I'll go ahead and, okay, well, it's hard to explain. Anyway, you can do it two different ways. You can do it with your die body, or you can do it with your little adjustment up here on top. But you just want to bell the mouth enough to accept your bullet. And that's all you want to do. If you go too far, you're working your brass too much, and you'll eventually crack it. But you do want it big enough to accept a cast bullet. Okay. We'll run one in here and show you what it looks like. Well, it's not wanting to focus very well. There we go. You can see it's got a little bit of a bell on it. That way you can get your cast bullet right in there. See, goes down in the casing. That way when you go to set, seat it. It's not hitting the sides and scraping off and wanting to bend the casing in and all that. But you can use your die body, with your expander already set, and then move your die body up and down to achieve that. Or you can set your die body where you want it and then move your expanding adjustment up and down to achieve the bell you want. And that's all there is to expanding. I separated out my casings in the manufacturer because manufacturers make their casings a little different. Now, you don't have to, guys. I'm just being a little picky on this because I want to see about the accuracy. I normally don't separate them and just mix my brass. It's okay, especially when you use cast bullets. And it's okay just to shoot and plink and whatever. But normally I end up with about 7 or 8 different manufacturers. This time I've came out with 5. I got Remington, Winchester, Federal, and CCI. Now it'll say Blazer on the head stamp. That's CCI. And then I ended up with about 3 military pieces of brass. Okay, guys, I've expanded all the mouths. Now we're going to prime them. There are different ways of priming. Most applications. Now, if you're using like this automatic hand primer from RCBS, comes with a tray. Got little ridges in here, so when the primers come up, bottom up, you can just rotate it like this, just shake it back and forth. And then the primers will go bottom down like they should. Now, some of your presses will come with a primer arm. I'm going to show you how to use that. I'm going to put your casing in your shell holder and run it up. Your ram has got a slot cut in it, so you can put your primer in your primer arm. Make sure that the primer is bottom down. Put it into that slot and pull down. And just give a little pull like that. Pull down on your lever, and then your primer will seat. You can feel it stop. It's pretty gentle. I'll show you that again. Put your primer in your little primer pocket. It's spring loaded with this little catch on it. So when it goes up into your shell holder, push the primer into your case, it flings out of the way. There you go. Now, that's one way. Like I said, I like to use the hand loader. I've got a large, this one in here, large primer. See, you can see the difference. There's the large ram. Here's the small ram. It's also color coded. The large will be black. And the small will be white. And it takes a shell holder too. And I'll be using the Lee 19 shell holder. So it looks like that. And then you put your shell holder on there. You push it in, making sure that you have access to your casings to slide into the shell holder. It's got this retaining clip. There's a slot cut through here, and you just push that retaining clip through that slot. And it has like a set screw on this side that goes through a hole in the clip. That way, this is spring loaded. It doesn't go too far. Then you just drop your primer ram right in the hole. Got a cover for your primer tray. It's got a little thing here to keep the primers from coming out. There's a little slot in the back. You just push that right in, and you're ready to prime with your hand primer. And there you go, guys. It's primed. Show you that again. Stick it right in the shell holder. Oop. There it is. Yeah, I'm going to show you that again. Okay. Stick it right in the shell holder. Just squeeze. And there it is. It's that simple, guys. You want to make sure that you have safety glasses when you're putting primers in, because just in case that it does explode, your eyes are covered. Alright guys, I'm going to prime these and I'll be back. I want to touch base on small pistol primers. For those of you that are not familiar with reloading and primer size, you have a large pistol primer and a small pistol primer. Now, if you're getting European type primers, they're a 4.4 millimeter small pistol boxer. There's also a Perdan, which most cases in the United States don't use Perdan, but some are. But you have also Magnum small pistols. When you're shooting standard, like 9mm, 38s, on like that, still your Magnums, like your 357 Magnums, your 44 Magnums, you normally don't need a Magnum primer. That's for your slower burning powders. That's all I need to say. All right, guys. I'm going to prime these 3 military casings without taking the cramp out, so I can show you what it does. All right, here we go. Wow, that one worked. Yeah. Somebody may have already took the cramp out of these. There we go with another one. Oh. Huh. Okay, hey, I lucked out. Somebody took the cramp out. There we go. Wow. Okay. Awesome. No problem. Okay, we're done priming. Shut my little door on my tray here. Put my primer up. priming arm. I don't keep my priming arm on there. It tends to be in the way a lot of times. All right, now we're going to get into powder charging and seeding bullets. Now, I've already have this seeding die adjusted, but it's a lot like your expanding die, except it has a crimp in it. And you want to make sure not to over crimp your casings. It will bulge them or crush them, and they could cause problems. On this has a tapering. It don't have a roll cramp. It has a tapering cramp. And a lot of people don't like to crimp with this die on their powder coated bullets because it tends to scrape the powder coating off. Sometimes I have problems, sometimes I don't. It depends on the casing. So, but there's an adjustment up here to seat your bullet. Now your die body is where your cramp is. So you want to make sure to, when you find the height on your bullet that you want, the bullet I'm using, I've got it set at 1.107. That's where I've got it set at. And to get that depth, you run your seating stem down. You keep pushing it up a little bit at a time until you get to the depth you want it to be. Now, a lot of manuals for certain bullets will tell you how deep they would need it to be. But a lot of guns will not accept that height. You have to adjust it to your gun. Make sure this is set right. Yep. Here it is. It's set right. All right. Now, we need to find some powder charges. The bullet I use is a Lyman bullet, and I use the 3rd edition gas bullet handbook. And I just look in here, 9mm. Oh, past it. There it is. And I find the bullet that I'm cast. And right here it is. This bullet right here. And there's different powder charges. See, you'll go right up here at the top. It shows you the depth. Now, if you'll notice, I went down 3/1000ths more than what they show here. I'm more comfortable with that depth. Then in this book, it has a starting charge and a maximum charge on the powder you want to use. Now, I use Alliant powder, so I'll be using the red dot, green dot, unique, and blue dot. That's the 4 powders I have other than 2400. 2400's too slow for this small casing, so I won't be using that. All right, guys. I'm going to get started with the red dot. Let's just go ahead and do that. There's my red dot. I'm going to put it in my powder measure. Now your powder measure has an adjustment. I'm going to bring you around here so you can see it. Right here. Right here's your adjustment. You screw it out to increase your powder charge. You screw it in to decrease your powder charge. Right down here's my scale. Can you see it? No, you can't see it. Hang on. Okay, I bring you down to my scale. Now, to zero this out, put your big weight on 0, put your medium weight on 0, and your small weight on 0. Now these go in tens. On your bigger weight, it goes 10 grains. This is up to 10 grains at 1 grain at a time. And then these are point grains. 0.1, 0.2, up to a half a grain. Okay, let's see if we can focus in on this 0. It is 0. Now to adjust these scales, it's got a little thing here that you can move back and forth. If it's a little light, go one way or the other, zero it out. And there we go. It's zeroed out. I bumped it. Must be a little ridge there. This is just like a level, guys, is what it's like. All right, there we go. And there it is. That's how you zero out your scale. All right, guys, it's always good to use more than one manual, because in a lot of your manuals, there could be typos. They could put a number in there that shouldn't be in there, and you got to watch that. You got to think when you reload. You know, I know a lot of you are new to it, and you don't realize that sometimes you can overcharge, or a manual will give you a number for a max and it's really higher than what it really needs to be. That's why you should always start with a start load. Or if your manual don't have a start load, if it has a maximum load, you want to make sure and reduce it by 10 to 20% to be safe. And then work up to maximum. In a lot of cases, I don't really go by speed. I really want to see how accurate a bullet will be, so I just work my loads to where I'm shooting on paper where it's accurate. Okay, now in this manual here, and this is the manual I'm going by because it shows the bullet that I'm using. And we're going to start with red dot, and it shows a starting load at 3.8. It goes up to 4.5. Now on the green dot, it has a 3.9 to 4.8. Now these are the powders I'm going to be using, so I'm going to go ahead and say it now. Then I'm going to do that, and I'll show you what I'm doing. Then on the unique, it's 4.3 start and a 5.3 max. And on the blue dot, it shows a 5.9 to 8 grains max. All right. I will probably not get close to the 8 grains on the blue dot. That seems kind of harsh. That's showing 1,250 feet per second. That's pretty quick, so we don't need to push that bullet that fast. All We zeroed out our scale. I've got red dot in here. I've got it, yeah, it's probably a little too high. So I'm going to screw my adjustment in to decrease the powder charge. All right. See where we're at. Now, pushing that in, I have compressed the powder. So I'm going to let a little bit of it out to decompress it. I'll put it on the scale that you can't see. And we're going to take it down. I believe the start on that was 3.8, or was it 3.5? 3.8. Yeah, my memory's working this morning. Okay, we are actually at 4 grains. You know, I might keep that for a start, because we can go up to, what was it, 4.8? Oh, 4.5. Wait a minute. Okay. Here we go. Yeah. We probably really are throwing 3.8. Yeah, we're on 3.8. So we're going to start at 3.8. Okay, what I do is I mark my casing box 1 through 10. Then I have a load data book that I keep, and I'll write in here. I'll show you on I've already wrote some down on a 45. This is how it'll look from a 9mm. I'll write down the charges 1 through 10 and how I load them. And then that will be marked on my box. And I'll mark my targets the same way. That way all I got to do is put a 1, 2, 3, 4 on my target, and then match it up with the load on the box and then the load in the book. And that's how I do that.